Alright, so last video I spoke on the problem being you and getting out of your own way when you're trying to chase your dreams and, accomplish your goals. But this video I'm speaking on, the power in you and recognizing your call to greatness and how I feel like we all got something inside of us that that'll help us carry out a plan, to be better as far as God's plan and what He got planned for us. And when I was 16, I noticed what my call to greatness was. But before I tell you about that, I got to give you a little bit of, backdrop on how I discovered that. When I was in high school, I was in this program called Upward Bound. And when I was in this program, I met this dude named Aaron. He pretty much like my brother now. But when I met Aaron, he was a gifted artist. He had a way of being able to transfer life on the paper. And I had never seen nothing like that. He was able to freeze time with the images he drew, and he was real good at it. But with knowing him personally, it made me reflect and look deeper into myself and ask myself, what was my calling and what was I sent here to do? And just so it happened, God got perfect timing. He got perfect timing. And shortly after that, somehow, I found writing, or whether writing found me. And I started out doing poetry. I started out just writing to kind of clear my mind. It became real peaceful. It became an escape. And 14 years later and over 10,000 hours invested into my craft, as far as being a writer, poet, whatever, I'm still into it. I'm still doing my purpose. I'm still doing my calling. And that's my whole thing with recognizing the power in you and recognizing what your calling is and what your seed to greatness is. When I get messages from people, when I get people that hit me up for advice, when I'm standing in front of people and they pouring out their heart and they crying, when things like this happen, I'm doing, I know wholeheartedly that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing here. And I'm no different than you. You also have something inside of you. God gave you something special for you to carry out a plan and for you to carry out a purpose. But it's up to you to find, to find out and figure out what that is. And the more once you find out what it is, and once you start watering it every day, it's gonna blossom and grow into something bigger, and it's gonna help you, move mountains in your life. It's gonna help you to do whatever it is you need to do, to put yourself in a better, situation financially for your family. It's all about, like TD Jakes said, it's all about listening to the instincts you already got inside of you, that would push you to that level. But if you're not paying attention to it, you're never going to tap into it. And when I was studying powerful people, I came across the story of Diddy. And I believe it was in 1989, he had went to Howard University. But when he went to Howard, he had never went to class. He was skipping class, and he just wasn't really into the books like that. But one thing he loved throwing parties. And every time he threw a party, it was such a big event that thousands and thousands of people showed up for his parties. Everybody said back in the day, Diddy threw the best parties on campus in college. But he did that enough to where he listened to that voice inside of him, and he recognized that his power, the power that was inside of him was his love for doing music. So shortly after that, he just dropped out of Howard. He dropped out of school, didn't even try finishing his business degree. And then he went to go and do an internship with Uptown Records. And then shortly after that, he got fired from there, but he stayed there long enough to where, he was able to get his hands dirty. He was able to, to pay his dues and learn the ins and outs, the music industry. So a few years later, after that, he had started Bad Boy Records. And, from that, from listening to, his powerful instincts, after Bad Boy Records came his clothing line, Sean John. After Sean John came his partnership with Sir Rock. After Sir Rock came Revolt Television. And in the course of over 21 years, he increased his net worth to over $700 million. But it all started with one thing. It all started because he listened to the power that was inside him. He didn't ignore that voice that was telling him that your calling is doing music. And that's the whole thing with you. You know, we all got a calling, we all got a special gift or a special purpose inside of us to help carry out a mission. And there was another situation that I had came across this week. You know, God doesn't just show, he doesn't just show you how powerful you are as an adult. He shows you, you know, he shows you that in all shapes and sizes. And the other thing that I came across this week was there's this video on YouTube floating around of this little kid. I think his name is Caden. And in this video, he can't be no more than maybe 2 or 3 years old. But in this video, he's learning how to walk with one of those walkers that, you see the old people, walking with, when it's hard for them to, get around on their own. But he doing it, he got like the little kid version. And, I don't know if he had, some sort of ailment or he had some sort of sickness, but, his right leg, I think his right leg was amputated. So, he's walking with this walker, and he walks about 15 feet, 15, 20 feet. And then keep in mind, he 2 or 3 years old. So when he first starts out, he stumbles a couple times, he falls back. And, he tries it again, he falls again. He tries it one more time, he keeps falling. And then finally around like the 4th or 5th time, he's learning, he's doing a lot better. He doesn't fall back, he keeps moving forward. And I guess, it might have been his mom or his grandma behind him, and they were asking him, "You got it?" And he was like, "Yeah, I got it. And he kept walking, and he walked like the extra 10 or 15 feet. And when I seen that, it was just the most inspiring thing that I had ever seen, because here's this little kid with one of his body parts missing, but if you look at the video, you wouldn't even know it, because he was filled with so much joy and happiness and passion. He thought it was fun. And that's the whole thing about it, like the power in you. Never mind your limitations, never mind, what shortcomings you got. Long as you focus on the power in you, it's gonna get you to be able to move forward in life. And that's my whole thing. You got a power in you, you got a call of greatness in you that you need to answer. You need to start watering your seed and find out what your calling is and find out what your passion is. If I can do it, if Caden can do it, and he's 3 years old and he can walk 20 feet on one leg and still have joy and passion in his heart, then why can't you do it as an adult and do what you need to do as far as being where you want to be in life? And that's my whole thing. Recognize the power in you, and once you do, tap into it every single day. Do not give up, and tap into it every day, because at the end of the day, whatever you're doing, keep in mind that you're not the only one doing it. And whatever you're doing, preparation and consistency is going to separate you from everybody else. Preparation and consistency will separate you from everybody else in whatever it is you're doing. And that's my message. 1.